Well, hey guys, it's Mr. Galleon. I'm starting my video over. I had a really nice video. I was outside, and birds are chirping and all that. It's a sunshiny day. It was great. But I told a joke, and as soon as I told it, I was like, I don't think I can put that on the internet. So here's take two. Here you go. It wasn't dirty. It was just it was about vaccines and such. So well, anyway. So I'm going to answer some of your questions. I'll put this online. I like vaccines, by the way. I think they're good. And anyway, okay. I'm going to answer a couple questions. I have a lot of questions related to school and the coronavirus, sometimes together, sometimes separately. And I've got a couple other questions like, have I ever been pulled over and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to take them in this order. I'm going to do school questions. I'm going to do school and coronavirus questions. I'm going to do coronavirus questions, and then I'm going to take the other ones. Okay. So let's talk about school first. The first one I've mentioned a number of times, but I don't expect you to watch all these videos, so it's totally fine. The question is, what if we don't have all of our service hours? Are they still due? How do we turn them in? What if we can't get them signed? What do we do? Okay, so there are two groups of people. One is seniors. Seniors have it the easiest. If you're a senior right now, cool, you're good to go. We know it's been a rough year. We know that you probably might be short on some of your hours, especially if you were going to wait till the last quarter to do it. So you are forgiven. You get to graduate. Good for you. Okay. Juniors and underclassmen. Excuse me. At the moment, what we're saying is you can catch up on those hours, on those signatures, on whatever later. You don't have to turn them in this year. Turn them in next year. Okay. Now here's the big, gigantic asterisk. The big asterisk is we don't know what's going to happen next year. Okay. So because of that, hang tight. There's a really good chance we'll have to come back and amend this next year. For now, if you can be getting hours over the summer in any way, shape, or form, do it, right? But the problem is a lot of you guys would go on mission trips or you'd work at your church doing childcare or, whatever. And right now, that's really hard to do because your churches aren't meeting, your mission trips would be canceled, and all that stuff. Okay, so I don't know. If you're working at the Humane Society, I don't even know if the Humane Society is open. Maybe it is. It probably is. But I don't know about volunteers and what they're doing. Yeah, hold on to them. I will also say this. I think there's a good chance that next year is going to be somehow goofed up because of all of what's going on. It's not just going to magically end. So hang in there because there's a really good chance we'll have to come abridge things next year too. Okay. Second question, since we aren't doing exams, how's the rest of school going to look? So it's pretty straightforward. For most of your classes, you'll have a final project or a final test that's not a final exam. It's just the last one you're going to take, and then you'll be done. It's going to feel very weird because there's not like a big celebration or anything that suddenly announces we're done and we don't have any more school. So for U.S. history, for example, we're going to take test 8, and that's it. I'm going to probably post a nice video that says, I missed you guys, you're the best. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, whatever. And that's it. So, I hate it. I hate that it's gone down this way, but that's how it's gone. For seniors, the last day they can get any new content is May 8th, which is this Friday. Then they've got a couple weeks to get some makeup stuff in if they're on the border of graduating or not, or haven't finished their work. Underclassmen, you have until May 15th. That's next Friday. And then we're done if you're caught up. If not, again, you've got a couple weeks to finish your stuff up. Okay. All right. So how about the questions related to the coronavirus and school? All right. One of them is this. If COVID-19 is still at large when school starts again, do you know how college classes will be affected? All right. This is a great question. The simple answer is no, but let me give you some options. Okay. So first of all, it's not just college that's going to have to look different. It's school, right? Already the State Department of Education is meeting to talk about what do we do in the fall, and they've got to have a couple different plans, right? There's a plan for what if everything is great, which that would be fantastic, but I'm not holding my breath for that because the coronavirus is still going to be out there in the fall, okay? So it's probably not there. But what if it is, really minimized and it's been pressed down, the curve has been down and it's staying down because we're staying on top of things. That's plan one, then we'd probably just go back to school. Second option is what if it's down, but we've been seeing ups and downs and ups and downs. And a lot of people say that we'll probably have periods where it's kind of okay to go out and then periods where it's, the virus is on the rise. And then we stay home for a little while and it's better and then we can go out and then it's on the rise. And it would probably stay that way up until Excuse me, my back hurts. It would stay that way probably until we get either a vaccine, which would be the best, or some kind of a treatment. And then even if you get sick, we just say, here, take these pills, here's an injection, whatever, you're going to be fine. So if that's the case, we would probably be in school for a while and then out of school for a while. But if we're in school, like how in the world do you stay 6 feet away from other people? How do I, as a teacher, when I'm in a room with, 25 students, how do I keep a distance? How do we not breathe the same air? Like, that's probably not going to happen. So if that's the case, if we're still worried about transmission, especially if we're going on the upward part of a slope, which a lot of people predict in the fall is going to happen, we might start with online school. And I would say the same for the college. I don't think the college is just going to shut down because all colleges need money to stay in operation. They got to pay their teachers, they got to pay the rent, the mortgage, whatever. So I wouldn't be at all surprised to see some classes start online. The third option, or I don't know what number I'm up to, but the other option is that maybe we do a thing where we go to school in the morning, or half the students go in the morning and half of them go in the afternoon. Maybe we go A days, half of them go A days and everybody else goes B days. The problem with that in high school is that, what do? Do we say freshmen and sophomores go on A days and juniors and seniors go on B days? First of all, we already have an AB schedule, so what does that look like? Second of all, you guys have a lot of classes where you've got freshmen and sophomores and juniors and seniors, or some combination thereof, together. Scheduling that avoids that would be a nightmare. Like, scheduling is tough enough as it is. So I don't know, but the short answer is I don't think this is just going to end and everything's going to be better by August. There's a really good chance that we're in this in some way, shape, or form up until we get a vaccine or a treatment, okay? Does that mean we're on lockdown the whole time? Probably not. We probably figure out some ways to hang in there, but I don't think you're going to be going to big, huge crowds with, football, baseball, basketball anytime in the near future. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but there you go. Okay. Somebody says, is it okay to go on walks during quarantine as long as we're social distancing and wearing a mask? Yeah, go on walks. And I don't think, under normal circumstances, I don't think you need to wear a mask or social distance from people that live in your house, right? So I go on walks with my family and we're close because I'm close to them at home. I mean, my kids are hanging out with me and, my wife is right there and it's fine. Now, am I going up and talking to my neighbors? No, I'll wave at them from a distance. I'll say, hey, from a distance, but I'm not just walking up their driveways and being like, hey, what's up? I'm not going to do that. Let's see, do I need to wear a mask when I'm going out there? Well, not really, because if you're keeping your distance from people, the virus isn't just floating loose in the air, without people. It needs people to transmit the virus. And after that, at least under normal circumstances, okay, there are a couple, especially in hospitals, where it aerosolizes. Don't worry about that, okay, really. But if you're just walking around in normal circumstances, the virus isn't just hanging in the air waiting to get sucked into your lungs. So, man, go on walks, though. Get outside. Like, my mood is way better when I've had some sunshine. When I'm inside, especially if it's overcast and dreary, a couple days, my mind starts playing the what if game. What if there's no vaccine? What if we, it takes 10 years to create all that kind of stuff? So, there you have it, okay? Go on walks. It's good for your brain. It's good for your body. It's good for you. Have you ever been pulled over? Now we're in non-corona questions. Yeah, I have. I've been pulled over twice. The first time I was on my way to school, the very first year that I ever taught. This is back in 2002, maybe 2003. I used to teach south of Greenwood in a little town called McCormick, but I lived back behind Bob Jones near Pleasantburg. So I was driving an hour and a half to work and from work. And so sometimes I'd, maybe go a little faster than I should. I don't know how fast I was going, but I got pulled over and I tried to play the I'm a teacher card, and the guy looked at me like, no. I mean, it was 7:30 or in the morning or something like that. Who does that? He did, and I deserved it, and so I paid it. The other time I was driving from here to Ohio with my family for Christmas, and I got pulled over in Kentucky. So in Kentucky, there are these long stretches where there's just nothing, and it's like 70 miles an hour, and all of a sudden I look down and I'm doing, I think, 85. And that's, I mean, I'll go 5 over sometimes, especially in that situation, and I don't think too much about it. But 15 is a lot. But, there's nobody there, and I'm just kind of not thinking. I'm just sort of in the zone. And so I hit the brakes. And as I'm hitting the brakes, I notice the lights are on behind me. And so this guy comes up and, man, what in the world? And he says, you know how fast you were going? And I was like, yeah, I was doing 85 back there, and I noticed it. And like, I hit the brakes because that's fast for me, and I'm sorry. And he says, so you got your family with you? And I was like, yeah, we're going to Ohio. He's like, where are you from? South Carolina. What do you do? I'm a teacher. He's like, oh, I was thinking about going into education. I thought about phys ed, and then I just, I didn't know if I had it or not. I decided I'd, go into police work. And I'm like, okay. He's like, normally I don't even do traffic. I'm usually the violent crimes guy. He says, it's pretty quiet around here. It's the hills of Kentucky. But I'll tell you, when the people around here kill somebody, they kill their whole family. And I'm just like, okay, what? And we talk. I mean, he talks about driving to Myrtle Beach because he likes South Carolina, and he talks about this and that. And it's just kind of crazy. We have this 20-minute conversation about just life and our families and what's going on. And he says, all right, well, I gotta go back here. Let me take your license. So he takes my license and he goes back. And I don't even think he runs my license. He goes into his back seat of his car and he rummages around for a minute. And he comes back with a transformer, like a big plastic transformer. It's like, I don't know, a foot and a half tall. And he hands it to my son, and he's like, here, this is for Christmas for him. We're giving these to people in the community. Just, I don't know, watch your speed. He says, no, I will tell you. He says, I'm the last, I think he was a highway patrolman. I'm the last highway patrolman between here and the border of Ohio. So you just go, as fast as you need to. Be careful. When you cross into Ohio, those people are speed Nazis. They even pull me over so every once in a while. So you just be really careful and have a good Christmas. And I'm like, okay, no ticket, no nothing. It was kind of great. Well, the last one, this is actually a Corona question. Sorry. Somebody says, what are all the anti-vax people going to do? And the only solution to the coronavirus is a vaccine. Wow. So first of all, I will put this on the table. I am a pro-vaccine guy, and I think you start to see why now. Back in the day, before we had vaccines, you've got the measles, you've got the mumps, you've got rubella, you've got chickenpox, all these things that are out there that do real damage to people and sometimes kill people. And what we're seeing is that even if something has like a 1 or 2% mortality rate, if something is moving through society in high numbers, 1 or 2% of all of your society is a huge number. You don't want that. So are there ever risks to vaccines? Sure, there are risks to vaccines. There are. But the risk to not getting the vaccine, I would say, and I think science backs up, and I can engage you with in this more with you if you're interested. I think science backs up that the odds of, or you're actually taking more of a risk by not getting the vaccine, because what if you get measles, mumps, rubella, whatever, and you have an adverse reaction, which some people do. Not everybody does, but even if it's 1%, that's not great. Okay. So yeah, it is a little bit of a gamble. There are some vaccines that have had adverse effects, but what they say is, yeah, these adverse effects are in such a minority of the population that, again, you're at greater risk to not get this. Okay. Anyway, so when it comes to the coronavirus vaccine, there are a couple things you got to know. One is that, first of all, there are some in production, not production, but in testing, even human trials already. This is the first week of May. They're expecting some of the first results from that, but that doesn't mean you move directly into producing it in large numbers, because first of all, you got to make sure that it is safe for people to take, that it doesn't actually cause problems. And then there's this other thing where sometimes the vaccines make it so that if you have this, yeah, you get some antibodies or whatever, but then if you get the disease, the vaccine in some cases can actually make the disease worse in you than if you didn't have the vaccine at all. And that's something they got to make sure is not the case. Can you imagine if we inject everybody with the coronavirus vaccine and then it makes things really bad? Even worse than the coronavirus. Like, what if it takes the mortality rate to 10%? Like, that would be awful. Okay. So, all that to say, it's going to take some time. Here's the thing, though. There are already people out there that are saying, and there are conspiracy theories, underline the conspiracy theory part, where people say Bill Gates just wants to vaccinate people so that he can sterilize them. Like, that's a thing. And first of all, Bill Gates he's just a dude who's putting up money. He's not the only person, obviously, and we still got FDA approval and all that. So they're saying Bill Gates wants to sterilize people because he wants to take down the population. He does say that it'd be great if we had a smaller population, but the fact that he's even immunizing or involved in helping to stop the coronavirus means he doesn't. I mean, just think about this. If you let the coronavirus run its course, you could reduce the number of people in the world by a couple percent. Okay, it doesn't really add up. So that's a problem. Some people are really concerned that, and again, I really need to make the one about my religious views because this talks about that. Some people are really concerned that, so they've talked about, how do you know what vaccinations you've gotten? Like, I don't know all the vaccinations I've gotten. And because I've had different doctors over the course of my life, who knows? Bill Gates and some other people have said it'd be really cool if we could inject you with a thing, with a vaccine, and we could also give you some kind of a dye or something so that we could shine it on there and it would say, oh, you've had the chickenpox vaccine and the MMR, and you've had the diphtheria shot and the flu shot from 2019, 2020. Okay. So kind of cool, but some people are like, ooh, is that the mark of the beast that Revelation talks about? And my short answer is, I really don't think so. If you want to know why, I'm going to make that other video, I swear. But some people are really worried about that, and tracking and privacy concerns and all that kind of stuff. There would have to be a lot that would go wrong. So the short answer is there are definitely people out there who say, I'm worried that the vaccine isn't going to be safe, and I think there's some valid concerns. If you rush it too quickly, there can be safety concerns. Okay. There are also people who are like, I'm worried that Bill Gates is trying to sterilize me. Okay. I guess we can talk about that, but I have issues with that. There are some people who are like, this vaccine is going to be the mark of the beast, or tied to the mark of the beast somehow, which, I mean, anything's possible, I suppose, but that doesn't seem super likely to me. So all I'm saying is there are definitely people who are not going to take this for a variety of reasons. Some are more valid, I think, than others. But you will find people who aren't going to take it and say, I'm going to take my risk. My Facebook feed is filled with people like that. And you probably know some, and maybe you even are some. And if that's the case, I'm happy to, look at your articles and see what you've got. All right, y'all, I think that is everything. Oh, the other question is my favorite board game. I actually have a video that I made a while ago and just haven't posted. I think I'll post it with this one. And there you go. Okay. Oh, shoot. This video is super long. Last one about school. I don't know if this is a little too personal, but there's talk that around the country, teachers are getting paid a lot less for online school. Has your paycheck dropped, or is it the same? That's a really kind question, actually, for you to ask. My paycheck has stayed the same. In South Carolina, teachers' paychecks have stayed the same. I haven't actually heard of that being a thing. There is, a little concern because our paychecks come from tax dollars. And so if people are spending less or unable to pay their taxes or whatever, we could see a cut in our pay. That's not happening yet. What they have said, the way teacher pay works is that every year you get a raise from a couple different things. One is you get an extra year of experience just because you have taught longer, right? You can also get an increase if you get more education, like I just got another degree, so I got paid a little more. And then you get paid a little bit more just because there's a cost of living increase as well. All right. Usually it's like a 2% raise on the overall, what are we going to pay you? What they've said is they're going to freeze our pay basically at this year's rate. We're not going to get a raise next year. At least I think that's the case. Maybe we get our step, but not the 2 or 3%. I think they're just freezing it at these levels. And honestly, that's fine. I'm doing okay. And I think most teachers are doing okay. As long as we get that paycheck, we should be all right. The cost of stuff like gas isn't going up, although the cost of other things might here if we start seeing some shortages, which is possible. At the moment, we're doing okay. My concern, and this you can actually help a little bit with this, my only real concern is that if this goes beyond this next year, which it's super possible that it does, if it goes into, say, next September or October before we get a large-scale vaccine, that's going to impact our ability to bring new students into GMC. Like, people aren't going to want to go on a tour of a school where they might be exposed to, a virus. People aren't going to want to go to large-scale meetings about what GMC is like. And so I have a little bit of concern about how do we recruit, not for the 2021 school year, but for the 21-22 school year. That's a big deal because if we don't get students, if we don't get freshmen coming in, we don't get as much money as a school. And if we don't have as much money, then you start seeing all kinds of cuts happening, okay? So, tell your neighbors, tell your friends, send them our way. We'd be happy to educate them. It'll be great. Okay. But that's what I got for you. Okay. Y'all, this is the longest video that I've done, which is unintentional, but I got a lot of ground covered. Hopefully this is helpful and interesting to you. Let me know what I can do for you. Ask me any more questions you got down below. And the board game one, if you wanted to know my favorite board game somebody asked me, there's a link to that one down below too. All right? Take care. I'll see you guys soon.